either like towards the end of elementary school or in junior high. I'm pretty sure I was under like 13. I don't know the exact age I was, and neither does my mom. I've asked her, but this happened when I was young, okay, and it scared and scarred me for life. If this story time may trigger you in any way, click out now, because I don't want to scare you or give you any bad vibes at all. Ultimately, in the grand scheme of home break-ins, this is really not that scary, which sounds weird to say, but you'll see why. Could have been a lot worse, okay? This did lead to me sleeping on the floor of my parents' bedroom all through high school, pretty much, until like about when my dad died. So, yeah, about 5 solid years of being too scared to sleep in my own room. And it's still, ultimately, it was not that bad compared to like a lot of the true crime stories that, I've listened to. So, without any further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, make sure you've had a lot of water today, and sit back, because without any further ado, let's get into it. It was a dark, not stormy night in Elizabethton, Tennessee, in the house on the hill at the dead end of G Street. A family of 3 lived atop the hill, including me. This was circa 98 through 2001-ish, and I was tucked away in my bed on the 2nd floor of my house, my family's house. I woke up because I heard some sort of noise at the front door. I thought I heard like the sound of the door opening, or like rustling at the doorknob, or just some sort of movement at the front door. Now, to explain a little bit about my house, I'll try to insert a picture here if I can dig an actual like hard copy photo out of my old photos. We don't have that house anymore, unfortunately, but the house truly was up on a hill with a windy driveway. And we had, this is really stupid, and I will personally never do this, but it worked in the 90s. My parents had purchased home security stickers and put them all over like our windows, and that was our home security my whole life growing up, and I knew it. And I wish my parents would have never have told me that. I wish I just would have grown up believing we actually had a home security system. Shout out to the Ramseys, because like, what was everybody doing in the 90s, really? Like I still remember when my dad tried to explain it to me and was like, well, people will come to break in and they'll see the sticker that we have a home security system and they'll leave. And I'm like, will they? Like, I really hope so. saving skills. Will personally never do it that way, but shout out to them because again, it was the 90s and that worked for the most part. Except for this story. So just to kind of set the scene of our house, riddled in home security stickers, not a single alarm in sight. I mean, we had smoke detectors, fire alarms, but of course we did not have home security systems. So I was always like aware of that, and always felt like, okay, I don't feel like we're fully safe because of that. So it did impact me in a way, and I feel like I was sensitive to sound at night because of that, and still am. So I hear some sort of like rustling at the front door. I was asleep, and like the rustling woke me up. So I just kind of lay in bed, terrified, because for sure it was not like our cat or dog. It had been a metal type of sound. So I was laying in there, just trying to catch my bearings and figure out what was that sound. And I thought, footsteps downstairs. So my bedroom was up its own set of stairs, and there was a bathroom at the end of the hall, then a hallway in my bedroom, which was directly over the living room and front door. Then through the living room and through an atrium up the stairs was my parents' bedroom. So we were like both like through the living room, atrium, up the stairs, my parents, and then through the living room past the front door, up the stairs, a library, which isn't relevant, but I have to be fully honest with you, a library, a bathroom at the end of the hall, and then the hallway and my bedroom. So, and there was a window at my bedroom, and I could like open it, not a window to the outside. I mean, there was windows to the outside in my bedroom, but there was also like an internal window that you could open, and you could see the atrium and the steps from my parents' bedroom. So, nowhere near my parents' bedroom. So, I'm laying there thinking I'm hearing footsteps in like the front door living room area, and I'm absolutely just kind of like overcome with this feeling of someone is in our house. Like, so either someone's in our house or someone's trying to get in our house. And the scariest part about it, you guys, was that in order to tell my parents, like in order to like get to safety, I had to go past the door, like the front door where I'd heard the noise. And another reason that was so scary to me is because that door never was used. I know it was the front door, but we just always used the back door. I'm sure some of you guys have houses like that. But I mean, like deliveries and stuff would get dropped off at the front door, but all of the driveway, like the driveway ended around the back of the house. Parking pads, basketball, like all of that was around the back of the house. The garage doors, the pool, the good part was all in the back. So we always used the back door. They had very distinct, different opening and closing sounds. So I knew for a fact it was the front door. Another reason I knew that is because the back door was partially wood with glass, and the front door was two doors. It was a fully like wooden door and then a glass door that was on springs, and it opened, and then this one opened as well. And sometimes we would leave this one open. Sometimes we would open this one and just leave the glass one, and they just had very distinct sounds, especially with like the springs of the glass only, like full glass door. That also scared me just knowing our front door, like our first line of defense, was glass. It was just like really scary to me. So I kind of lay there, continue hearing noises. I thought I heard the noises move, like towards the kitchen a little bit. So I decided, like, really the only thing to be done is to haul ass to my parents' room and try to, like, get over there and just tell them what's going on. So I get up out of bed, I go down the hallway, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, I was so young. I was like 8 to 10. I didn't even like fully open my eyes. Like, I was so scared and so little, and I just remember being like, just like squinting to just like barely have my eyes open just so I can see like where I need to go, but not wanting to look around me. And honestly, in hindsight, I'm really glad that I didn't open my eyes. We'll get to why, but yeah, this story could have gone very differently if I had had my eyes open all the way. So I'm just like trying to make my way, like, and I ran too. Like, I'm just like running down the hallway, running down the stairs, running through the living room, past the front door, through the atrium, and up the stairs to my parents' room. And I just like forced my way in their bed, in between them. And at first, like getting in their bed and like waking them up, and like, mind you, like I'm clearly like a little bit getting up there to where it's almost like you can't be doing this anymore. But I tried to tell them, like, I was like, guys, please, there's somebody in the house, somebody's trying to open the front door, or already did, but we are in danger. We're in danger. And they were like, literally like the beginning of The Lion King, when Simba is bouncing around on Sarabi and Mufasa and like showing out. I was really like adamant, like, guys, someone is in the house. And I was like proud of myself and full of adrenaline and really scared at this point. And they were just like, that's fine that you're in here, but go to sleep. Nobody's in here. We're fine. I guess they just thought like I was being dramatic or making it up, or like weren't fully awake to like take in what I was saying. I don't know, but I wish in hindsight I would have like tried harder to wake them up. So I laid there in between them and I tried to go back to sleep, and I heard more noises. Yeah. I like settled in between them, could not convince them or like wake them up enough to take me seriously. And so I'm just glad. Like, I honestly feel like in hindsight, my ancestors, my spirit guide, like my guardian angels, me from the future, something protected me, because I just am very lucky that I heard the noise at first and was brave enough to like hightail it through my house and get over to my parents, because I don't know what would have happened to me if I would have been alone in my room and I would have stayed there. Like, I really don't. And I'm not saying that to be scary or like add to the vibes. Like, I truly don't know. And this could have gone any number of ways. I'm just glad that I got over to my parents, because then I heard more noises. And it's really weird, because still to this day, when I hear noises in our house at night, don't always like know what they are. Like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like if I hear beast like in the zoomies and like, you know, like scampering through the house, I know that that's beast with the zoomies. Like I can just tell it's a cat running, or a cat jumping on a plastic bag or something. Like if it's the wind and the house moves, I know what that sounds like. If it's somebody's car door, like a neighbor getting home late and their car door shut, like you can tell certain sounds, you know? But for the most part, like sometimes Thomas and I will just like both sit up and be like, what was that? And we'll go look, or he'll go look, because I'm scarred from the story I'm telling you. But it's very strange because when I think back on this story, and also like when it was happening, I knew exactly what like every little sound I was hearing was. Like once I was awake, like no, when I was still over in my bedroom and I woke up, like I was kind of confused, but laying in between my parents, I'm like, somebody's in our living room walking around. Like somebody's literally walking between the couch and the piano and the fireplace. Like I could just hear it, because I could hear the footsteps on the wooden floor versus when the rug would come into play, and I could hear literal footsteps. And the scary part, I'm getting chills telling you this, but like I'm up here in my parents' bedroom, remember? This is just down the stairs through the atrium and in the living room where I'm hearing this noise. And I had come from my bedroom down the hall, down the stairs, through the living room, past the noise to get up there. So just, it's like me from the future, or like some unknown force shot through my body or my brain and was like, try again, wake them up. And I did. I woke my parents up. I was like, Mom, Dad, and I like started shaking them, like literally like we were in The Lion King or something. Like I had been like laying in between them, and I turned over, got up on my knees, and started shaking them by the shoulders and was like, Mom, Dad, wake up. There's somebody in our house. I'll never forget that moment of my life. Like, #scarred. My mom was kind of like, what? Like half asleep still, like, L, come on now. Like, really? We have work in the morning. My dad rolls over, gets out of bed, gets underneath the bed, pulls his gun out, and goes downstairs. And when he gets to the doorway of the bedroom, he turned around and looked at us, and he was like, both of you, stay here. Shuts the door behind him. A hero. Like, literally my hero. But, you know, I'm scared at that point. Like, I'm like, no, Daddy, don't go. Like, I'm like begging him not to go. Mom was like starting to get up out of bed to like go with him, or like go crack the door and look. And she was like, you stay here at one point, and did eventually go downstairs. And trigger warning related to guns. So, for a couple of minutes, it was me and my mom in the bed waiting to see what was going on downstairs. Then she went to go follow my dad and help him, and told me to get under the bed and like just stay quiet. So I'm just waiting, trying to listen, but it's harder to hear because the door is closed. And I heard a gunshot go off, and I'm just absolutely at that point terrified. Like, I'm like, is this like, are my parents okay? So once I heard the gunshot, I'm thinking either we're okay or we're not okay. Like, either there was somebody in our house and my dad shot him, or my parents are shot. Like, I had no idea what that sound meant, and it just pierced the night air, like, and echoed. We lived again in Elizabethton, Tennessee. It was a very, very, like, small, lovely, wonderful, like, one of my favorite of all time towns, but not a lot of traffic and not a lot of noises from the traffic, if that makes sense. So, like, here in Charlotte, like, we can hear the train go by, as we often do. We can hear, you know, people with their bikes, like the dirt bike arena and the NASCAR stadium. Like, there's just like highways and traffic and all kinds of like busy city sounds. And in Elizabethton, there's not. It's really kind of like this vibe. Like, just a ticking clock, some crickets, very, very quiet. So that shot echoed into the night, and I remember burrowing down under my covers and really like wrapping, you know, tight into myself and trying to like not exist, but just trying to like disappear, you know, and like stay safe and hide myself. And I can't remember really at any point after that what happened. I think I must have like either cried myself to sleep or just been so tired that I fell back asleep. So from that point on, don't remember until my mom was waking me up and explaining to me what was going on. There was lights outside of the window, red and blue lights, and she was just like, let me explain, you know, like, let's talk about what happened. And it turns out that there had been a home intruder. My parents had called the police. My dad had shot his pistol that he kept under the bed. He had shot it into the air to scare this person off of our property. So what happened is there was I think it was only for kids under the age of 18. It could have been under the age of 16. But there was, like, I'm not even sure what you would call this. I think this was like people with criminal records under the age of 18, juvenile delinquents, if you will. I don't really know like the best term, and I do apologize, but to be completely honest with you, in 99, 98, whenever this was, they just called it the boys' home. Like, they called it the boys' home back in my hometown. And this was like a male only, under the age of 18, like criminal kind of halfway house. And this guy had escaped from it, which, like, when I'm 10, that's terrifying to me, because like I can't really think about that or understand that the way I do now, having already been a teenager. I had not been a teenager yet at that point. So I just thought they were like murderers, or like, you know, a criminal's a criminal's a criminal. Like, your world is very, very small when you're that young, and when you're in that small of a town too. So it was just much scarier in my mind. This person had broken out of the place that they were staying, and they were kind of on the run and wanted by the local police. So he was just trying to like get out of the halfway house, and wound up at our house and came right on in. Now I definitely have empathy for that kid, and I hope that if I had stayed in my room, like if the story was different in that sense, that he wouldn't have come up to my room, and like I wouldn't be left wondering, what would have happened to me if I didn't just like close my eyes and like run through my parents' house to get over to them and like wake them up, like, or like would he maybe not have come up to my bedroom but hidden out in our house or the shed in our backyard, or like just the trees, like hidden there for a couple of days, and like then something could have happened. I mean, like I guess what I'm saying is I'm not trying to like accuse him of anything that didn't happen, right? Like all that happened is he broke into our home. I don't even think he stole anything. Pretty sure he didn't. But at the same time, like that's all that got to happen, luckily and thankfully and all that. But when my dad had come down the stairs, he was in our living room, and I think he had been trying to use one of our phones or something like that, and had tried that in the kitchen at some point, but he ran back out the front door, and my dad shot the gun in the air to like have him keep going that way. The police came and they took our statements, my parents' statements, and that was pretty much the last I heard about it. I don't think it was the last my parents heard about it. But the police later confirmed, at that time, that night, it's not like he had a conversation with my dad and was like, I'm just from the boys' home, like, I'm just, like an underage criminal, don't hate the player, hate the game, like, at that point, we just knew, like, somebody that appeared under the age of 18 had broken into our home, and my dad had scared them off. So I think at some point the police circled back and told my parents that they had located him and that he was missing from the Center for Juvenile Delinquents. Again, I hate that term, and I hate the criminal justice system and a lot of things, but that kid did really fucking scar me for life. It's weird because I don't know, like I think if one of you guys told me that story, it would be like, oh, he was just a kid, like it's not like Ted Bundy broke into your home and tried to like, wear your skin or anything. Like it's just, I'm very grateful that it wasn't worse than what it was, but I also don't want to like minimize the experience because it was really traumatizing. I rarely slept in my bedroom after that, and still to this day, like it's a big deal for me, like to go downstairs at night and grab a bottled water, because like what if somebody's in our house? It's just a part of me, and I'm grateful that it wasn't anything crazier, but yeah, it was pretty scary, you guys. I honestly think the scariest part about it is that, well, two things. He probably saw me and was probably like hiding from me when I came down the stairs to go up to my parents' bedroom from my bedroom. Also, it's really scary to me that we had like the stickers of a home security system, but not an actual home security system. And further, that when I go, to wake my parents up and tell them about this, that they just kind of like brushed me off and went back to bed. Like, listen to your kids, you guys. If they tell you they have an imaginary friend with her bloody dress or something, like, just what if they do? Listen to that. Like, just, yeah. So all's well that ends well. Unfortunately for that guy, the police found him, and I really don't even know what he was in Juvie Hall for, or like whatever that freaking place was called. But I have empathy for him. I wish him the best, but like I do so with like an aching tummy, like a nervous, trauma-filled tum-tum, because that was just really scary to me. If anything like that has ever happened to you guys, I would really love to relate with you and connect with you about it. A lot of us relate about things like missing our parents, our parent figures, and like loving Halloween and spooky season. We just always relate, and I'm here for you if you want to share any story down below in the comments. I feel like it's both like a crazy story and an story. So let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate you giving me the space and the time to tell it to you and to share it. It never really feels like it's off my chest to share it. It's just one of those like defining things that happened that I'll like always remember, because it affected me for so many years after. But I'm very grateful now to have Thomas, and he always, if we hear a scary noise, we'll go investigate. And I'm trying to get better about not being afraid of the dark downstairs of my house at night. I'm 32. So I have more time to try, to have more time to get braver. But yeah, it's a lot to tell you, to me at least. So thank you for listening, and until next time. And in case I don't see you, I like how I started this video.